Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Hold on. Let me remember to do this time. I'm going to, how do I spotlight myself? Hold on. Hi, everybody. Hello, hello. Let's see. Hold on. I'm still working out the beautiful tech shenanigans of spotlighting myself so you guys can see me better.
You're spotlighted.
I am? Well, so you see me nice and big?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. Hello, everybody. I'm going to mute everybody for now. Hello. There we go. Let me let some people into the waiting room or out of the waiting room. Welcome to the April 2021 Voiceover Office Hours. I am your voiceover goddess, Coachess, Karen-Eileen Gordon. Happy to be here with you today. Hello, everybody. Whether you've got Thank you for the whoop whoop. That is very appreciated. It's very all the love, all the voiceover coaches love. Thank you kindly. So it is very nice to see you all. I'm going to remind you that your brain will be growing during the next hour. We're getting lots of information poured into your beautiful voiceover brain. So if you don't already, please grab some tightly capped hydration to protect your beautiful electronics. I'm going to have a hydration moment right now. It is amazing. Those of you who were here last month, I can't believe it's a month. During pandemic, sometimes time feels like you blink and it's another week or another month. So I'm very happy to be here with you in all your Zoom squares. And we do have a couple of questions. There are folks, hello to the people watching live on Facebook and to the people who are going to be watching in archive. A couple of people emailed and said, I can't be there live, but I will watch when it's done. Hello, all you lovely humans. Hello. And just know that you can, if you're not going to attend, please feel free to email me questions. In fact, let me put it in the chat. I think you all should have it because I'm emailing you, but let me, come here, little chat, behave yourself. There's the chat. Hi, everybody. Okay, hold on. I'm going to put my email. It's voiceoverkaren@gmail.com. If you can't attend, please email me some questions. I would say up to the day before, right? So we meet the first Wednesday of every month. So up till Tuesday midnight, the night before, you can drop some questions at that email and I will bring them into the session and be happy to answer them. Everybody just pop in the chat. Let me know how you're doing. I'm busy looking at the chat. How's everybody doing today? Tell me anything at all. Hold on, let me admit some more people. Hello, nice people coming in. Tell me anything at all about how your voiceover life or voiceover journey has been in the last month, and or just how are you, human beings? How are you feeling? Happy spring, happy Easter and Passover. Happy birthday to all of our April birthdays. I am rocking my birthday April crown because April's birthday month, and I've decided to celebrate every single day in April. Yes. So we have some festive glittery headwear today. All right, let's check the messages. Hold on. Let's see. Good. Linda's good. Iris Lynn. A voiceover session last week. Congratulations, Iris Lynn, for a voiceover session last week. Candy says, doing great. Good to see you. Good to see you too, Candy. Reese, nice to see you too. Good. Glad everybody's checking in. Hello, hello. Thank you. Susan says, happy birthday. I am Taurus on the cusp of Aries. I don't know a lot about the zodiac. Some of you in the room who are zodiac wizards, you can tell me what that means. But every time I've gotten a reading, they're like, oh, you're clearly Taurus, but you've got a lot of Aries. I'm like, awesome. Somebody will tell me what that means. Let's see. I'm going to start with these questions. Yes. Oh, I love it. Yes, I'm very well. I'm celebrating. Let me start out with a couple of announcements, actually. So I am, as some of you know, also a workshop leader and a speaker in addition to coaching privately for voiceover. And I'll be speaking this year at one of the biggest voiceover conferences on the planet. There's several of them. This one's called Voiceover Atlanta. It was going to be live last March. And of course, they did the right thing and canceled it because it was going to be 2,000 to 3,000 people from all over the world. So it was not a great timing for that. And so now they're completely online. It's happening April 19th through the 25th online. I'm going to be talking about radical self-care for voiceover artists, meditation for voiceover artists, energy work for voiceover artists, how to take really, really good care of yourself and thrive as a voiceover human. Ooh, is anyone else having sound issues? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay. That's a really good idea to check. Good, yes. Christopher, if you describe your sound issues, maybe we can help you troubleshoot them. Thank you, Linda. Thumbs up. Got it. And just know if you're sending me a direct message, I absolutely read all of them. I don't have a lot of time to respond to direct messages during this meeting, but absolutely know I read everything you send me. Okay. Let's see. Just looking at everybody. Hello, hello. Okay. So, VoiceOver Atlanta. And what's the other thing I wanted to tell you? It's birthday month. So, I'm celebrating. This was in the email some of you got. I'm doing a birthday present for you because people want coaching and I want to make that a little more accessible. I'm also working on a group coaching program to make it really accessible. That'll be coming over the summer probably, but it's $150 for 90 minutes. A completely shameless plug for my coaching services because I love you and I want to help you. And that's a very good deep dish rate. And that's in honor of my birthday. So if you're interested, email me. I've got limited spots, obviously, for that, but please let me know. If you're interested, email me at voiceoverkaren@gmail.com. All right, let's start with some questions that were emailed to me. And as we go along, and as you hear what I have to say here, if you have questions, please pop them in the chat and we'll talk about it. We absolutely will talk about it. Here's a question. Here is the question. As businesses open up more, if given the option to record in studio versus home, which would be better? Oh, that's juicy. Oh, that's very, very juicy. So I am multitasking and letting people in as I'm talking to you, which is why I'm not frozen. If you see me do like this, I'm just letting somebody in the room. Okay, good. So that's a very good question. And again, if you ask 10 or a dozen different voiceover wizards and goddesses and working voiceover humans and coaches, that question, you might get 10 different answers. My feeling is I want to empower you to be able to produce broadcast quality network standard files from your home studio. Now, there are lots of voiceover artists who will choose to outsource that, especially if you're in the world of audiobooks. You may already know that some audiobook narrators only do the recording. They will record all of the material and then they hire a proofer and an editor who cleans it all up and gets it to Audible and ACX standard. You pay for that service, obviously, and it's a relationship. You work with that editor, it needs to be somebody you trust, and we can talk about how to interview that person and how to find them. However, before you spend your money outsourcing your stuff, and even if you choose to do that, I want you to know how to produce those gorgeous files from your home studio because it gives you a bazillion times, that's a lot, it's a very big number, a bazillion times more choice and option in terms of your voiceover career. Meaning this, let's say you've got high class problem, 5 or 6 auditions to do, and they're all due tomorrow. If your window of time is 2 in the morning, you are empowered to do that at 2 in the morning. Hold on, somebody just unmuted. I'm going to mute you. There we go. If I hear background noise, guys, you know I love you. I'm just going to mute you so we can hear me and I can respond to your questions. Beautiful. So if your window's 2 in the morning or fill in the blank, life happens. You've got other people in your house with you, or you've got commitments. Even during pandemic, we have commitments. We're living life to the best of our ability. If you're reliant on a studio, it's unlikely that you would drive to a studio at 1:30 in the morning to do all your voiceover auditions. Is it an impossible task? No. Do I want you to have to rely on that? No. Do I want you to have to spend the cash every time you have an audition? No. So my feeling is record at home would be better. But I think the nature of this question might be about contracted work. So you book a job. So if the question is, if I book a job, is it better to record from home or from studio? That's very much personal preference. And some of the buyers of your talent will say to you, are you comfortable going to a studio? And please, please know, as a voiceover talent, you have the right to say, no, I am not yet comfortable. There are lots of studios that are being COVID compliant, very rigorous standards, especially if you're a SAG-AFTRA member and it's a SAG-AFTRA job. Those studios are required to do certain things to keep you safe. I wish for all of my non-union brothers and sisters that those same rules applied all the time. Sadly, they do not. There's no policing or enforcing of what happens in a studio that you go to for a non-union production or a non-union job. If you are in the non-union world and you decide to go to a studio, please know you have every right in the universe to ask that buyer of your talent lots of questions about what protocols will be taken at the studio, or if you can have a contact for the studio you'll be at. I want you to be really, 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 really comfortable. That is your right as a talent to protect yourself, and I want you to know that. That being said, there are lots of ways once your studio is set up to broadcast quality industry standard for you to peacefully record from home. And a lot of auditions are coming in now that say, we're only hearing for these auditions talent with home studios. And beyond that, they'll say talent with home studios and IPDTL or Source Connect. And oh, thank you. Thank you. I got my happy birthday wish. Hi, Zeke. Thank you very much. And there's a question. I'm going to catch it here. I'm going to go back and catch it. We're talking about if you've contracted work, can you record that stuff from home? I want you to have the option once you feel ready to record contracted work from your home studio. And that assumes first that your home studio is up to industry standard. And the baseline marks for that, it's more than this, but just to give you an idea, minus 60 dB or decibels when you're quiet and the microphone is listening, minus 60 dB when you're quiet and the microphone is listening. And when you're speaking, you want your record level to be at minus 12, between minus 12 and minus 6, maxing out at minus 6. So if those two parameters are hit, your gorgeous, authentic, original files are industry standard. Okay, you still have to clean it up if you've got clicks or pucks or smacks, or if you're stopping to breathe and you're doing that, then that one I would cut out, right? People breathe during reading. I don't want you snipping out every breath. I love, again, the idea of empowering you as artists to have sovereignty and control over your voiceover career. And one of those things means if somebody wants to contract you and they happen to be in Japan or Hawaii or the Netherlands, unlikely you or they are going to hop on a plane or a boat at the moment. They're still happy to hire you if you have Source Connect or IPDTL. And for those who are unfamiliar, Source Connect and IPDTL are probably the two most popular at the moment. High-speed data connections, they're ways for you to record through your mic into it's a website you sign into, the IPDTL website, and Source Connect has a client, Source Connect. And then the recording gets received by the other end over a very high-speed data connection, pristine and beautiful, as if you were in the studio with that human being. These are both paid services. Let me be clear. There's a free version of Source Connect. The free version of Source Connect is less awesome than the paid version because the quality of the free connection is less. Okay, let me say that again. There is a free and paid version of Source Connect, and if you want to check it out, you go to sourceelements.com. Source Elements, elements like elements, sky, water, wind, sun, elements, sourceelements.com. And you can check out their pricing plans and stuff. The most budgetary one is $35 a month. And if you're a SAG-AFTRA member, they'll give you a teeny bit off the setup fee. The setup fee is $75 one time, and then $35 a month. And you can start and stop it after, I think after 3 or 4 months, you can pause it if you're not using it. One decent job will more than pay for that fee for you. And that's why so many of the breakdowns now will say talent must have the paid version of Source Connect, because voiceover artists go, oh, Source Connect, that's easy. It's free. No. In order for them to get what they need from you, super high quality, you must pay the $35 a month to have that. Okay. And IPDTL is another one. It's also popular, very good, but I would say the granddaddy is Source Connect. And IPDTL stands for IP down the line. It's probably more techie than you need, but you can research. It's all about high-speed data. The older one is called ISDN. An ISDN connection used to be the way that voiceover artists working in their studios, 20, 25 years ago would work. That's mostly a music connection. But at the moment, what you're looking for to record from home, once you're at minus 60 dB and minus 12 in your space, is Source Connect or IPDTL. Okay, let me check. I think there's questions here. Hold on, let me check. Hello, everybody. Very, very nice to see you. Christopher fixed the sound issue, was using a VPN. Yay for fixed sound. And also just shenanigans. Just sometimes there's shenanigans. That's why I always want you to think about having a backup. If you're having a big important meeting over Zoom, I'd like you to have a backup connection. Do you know how to use your hotspot? If your internet goes down, please learn how to use that. Those of you who have a hotspot, not everybody's phone has one, but if you have a hotspot available, you can ask the hotspot to power your Zoom on your computer and go right on with the meeting. But I want you to test it out before you're in the middle of a meeting with Spielberg, okay, or with Pixar. Thank you very much. I want you to be super calm and peaceful for all your wonderfulness that's coming your way. All right, let's see questions. Susan says she needs a mic stand. My clap keeps dropping my. I'm not sure what clap is. Maybe that's a typo. Something keeps dropping your AT2020 USB plus. You need a good headset. Feedback to the other room. Okay. So Susan's gonna have a meeting with me. There's a lot of questions, but let me see if there's anything in there to answer for the group. Yeah, the headset, and I may have mentioned this before in case I didn't. I always want you to be recording, please, with headphones or earbuds in or on. Always, always, always. And again, ask 12 different humans, you might get 12 different answers. This is what I highly recommend for you because as you are telling your beautiful stories, you're listening in real time to what's happening on your track. Part of your brain will be like, oh, I heard a P there. Instead of saying Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, I heard Peter Piper picked. Okay. I heard that. So I'm going to stop and do a pickup or I'm going to do a mark or whatever your editing process is. I don't want you guessing because if you're just standing in front of the microphone recording, you're not hearing in real time what you're recording. You double, triple, quadruple the amount of work you're going to have to do in editing. So headphones and earphones matter, and they matter a lot because if you get a good pair, it will change your ability to hear clearly your sound. Absolutely start with what you have, but if you got more than one set of headphones, I would try out a couple and see which ones are better. I don't recommend noise canceling headphones. They're not awesome for voiceover artists because the feature of noise cancellation impacts what you hear, and you want to be able to hear in real time the same thing that your microphone and computer are hearing, and noise cancellation headphones do not allow you to do that. The ones that I love, I think, let me change this so it's to everybody so I can put it in here. And these are everywhere. These are in every brick and mortar studio you will ever go into, almost anywhere on the planet. They're called Sony MDR 7506s. Sony MDR 7506. Sony MDR 7506 is Sony, like Sony, the giant corporation we all know and love. MDR 7506 is the kind they go over your ear. Super important that whatever you choose, if you're using the larger headphones, that they fit all the way over your ear. Because if they don't, if they rest on your ear, you'll get what's called sound leakage. And that will show up in your recording as noise floor. And we do not want that in any way. So over the ear rather than on the ear. And I'm using, these are some adorable, I can send you guys this link or post it in the Facebook group. These are Panasonic, like $10 earbuds with silicone in them. They're actually gorgeous. They're a very budgetary version of a really, really good way to hear very clearly in real time as you're recording. So super important. If you're not used to recording with headphones or earbuds, it's going to feel weird at first. I just say play. This is meant to be fun and enjoyable. Voiceover thriving artistry is a marathon, not a sprint. And you can stop and take rests and breaks and naps and put it down and come back, but it's a journey. And I want you to be really, really comfortable along the way. All right, let's see. Elizabeth says, should you wait to get the trial of Source Connect if you book? Oh, that's a great question, Elizabeth. That's a really great question, and that's a really individual response. I can't give a solid answer for everybody. It depends on your circumstances. I would say if you can afford to try on the paid version, try it for a month, but it is a sign-up fee. So you're making an investment of $75 to get set up. But again, I would check with them. They used to say if you have it for 2 or 3 months and you're not using it, you can pause it. I know IPDTL has a day pass, or they used to, for $20 or $30 for the day. But it's a really good idea. The point you bring up, Elizabeth, is a really good one. I'd love for all of you just to get familiar with what Source Connect is. So in that regard, yes, create an account, do the free version, see if you can test it with a friend. So in this group, there's lots of voiceover humans. Maybe on an office hours, we can even test it live if Facebook will allow us to do that, and Zoom, we can coordinate with all of those things. But I don't want you to wait until you've got a booking to be panicked and go, oh my God, now I have to do Source Connect. And the other thing is, if you start the free trial, I think it's a 2-week free trial, and you're having shenanigans with your computer, Source Connect tech support during that free trial will have a free consult phone call with you to make sure it's up and running on your computer. They'll do a Zoom with you, they'll send you a link, they'll take over your computer remotely if they have to and change settings so that Source Connect functions on your computer. So I think that's a beautiful idea. Do the free version to do that. Get really, really familiar. So I'm changing what I said. I didn't think I had an opinion, but now I'm talking about I actually do have an opinion, don't I? So try the free version, get comfortable and familiar. And if you want to explore IPDTL, check it out. Create a free account. See if you can try a day pass. It's $20 investment. You and a group of people get together and everybody spends $20 an investment in your voiceover career and you IPDTL each other for a couple of hours. I want you to see what that is so you're not shocked. I want you to take as much stress out of the equation as you can so that when your client wants to offer you a 6-figure job and says, hey, you've got IPDTL or Source Connect, right? You can be like, yeah, I'm good. And here's my handle. And you'll choose a little name. So this is how they'll search you in the Source Connect system. But it's a great idea to do a test run so that you're calm and peaceful for your beautiful big moments, which are coming. Great, great, great question. Okay, let's see. Mike says, it could be an open back headphone. I used to tape the back grill of my old radio headphones to use on air without getting feedback. Mike, that's really interesting. So, feedback is one issue. Noise floor is the bigger issue. So you can have a boost in noise floor without getting feedback. So that's the thing I'm concerned about. And that being said, if any of you in this group are like, I have these noise canceling headphones and I've been doing my voiceover with them and everything rocks, then you are free to ignore the heck out of what I say and do what you like to do. Always, I'm going to give you suggestions and thoughts and comments. I want you to do what works for you. My concern with things that are not over the ear is not feedback. Feedback is a whole other issue. It's noise floor. And minus 60 dB, by the way, is the minimum. If you can get to minus 65 or minus 70, more power to you. That's better. You've got more wiggle room. Minus 60 is the level at which your beautiful files do not fail industry standard. It's the cutoff, the very edge of the cutoff. So anything at all in your studio that's going to make noise in any way, even noise that you don't hear, but your mic hears and shows up on your noise meter, we want to avoid. So Mike, I say, if those will keep you at minus 60 in your booth, please post a picture in the Facebook group and show us what they look like. I think that's fabulous. All right, please pause for hydration. More hydration. Love hydration. Oh, yes, water is delicious. Okay, let's see. Elizabeth, you're very welcome. Elizabeth says thank you. Sandy says, does Source Connect basically clean up your file from Audacity so you don't have to? This is the best question in the universe. I'm giggling, so let me do the question so now people listening in replay can hear it. Sandy says, does Source Connect basically clean up your file from Audacity so you don't have to? Just trying to understand. Happy Born Day. Thank you, goddess. Okay. Sandy, if you ever invent a plugin so that Source Connect cleans up your Audacity file, you will be a gazillionaire and we're all buying 1 million shares of stock in Sandy Co. Sadly, unless we break out our Hogwarts magical wands and figure out some sort of expecto cleanupum, okay, that would be the command. Source Connect does not clean up a thing. Source Connect takes your beautiful, and you're not recording. When you're using Source Connect, just to be clear, you're not going through Audacity. You can run Audacity on your computer as a backup recording. But when you're recording in Source Connect, you're talking through your computer to the Source Connect program into the studio of the person who's Source Connecting with you on the other end. You're skipping Audacity completely. So, in theory, if you've got cracks or pops or some craziness in there, they've got a high enough quality file through Source Connect that they will clean it up on the other end. So when you do Source Connect, you don't ever need to clean anything up. What you are responsible for, as the rocking voiceover artist that you all are, is to make sure your studio is industry standard. Minus 60 when you're quiet, minus 12 peaking out, and minus 6 when you're talking. That is your responsibility when you show up for a paid Source Connect connection with your client. Can your client clean you up if you're having a crazy day and there's a dump truck outside? Yes. But if it's really crazy in there, you're going to want to talk to your client, because if you've got minus 60 is the noise floor we're going for. Let's say you've got a construction that started that you didn't know about. It's the time of the session and there's a crazy cement mixer or a jackhammer. Hold on, I'm admitting somebody. Hello, come in person. Hello. Then that's something to renegotiate. If you're hearing bah, 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 there's no amount of magic on the other end on the Source Connect studio that's going to be able to filter that out. So it happens. You're not alone. Voiceover shenanigans happen, but sadly, no. Source Connect doesn't do any cleaning up. It takes your gorgeous file and just transmits it over the airways. Really, really, really good question. Okay. All right. Let me go to another one of the questions that came in on the email. Oh, this is a good one. Do voiceover talent thrive more with managers versus agencies, or is it a combination of managers, agencies, and self searches? This is like 6 questions. Okay, let's take them one at a time. Let's take one at a time. Hold on, let's see what Christopher said. Christopher says, I live in a 7-story building, so I have little control over what noises are happening outside my own unit. We're going to come back to that. It's a very real challenge, and you are so not alone. I know that doesn't make it any better. There are workarounds, and we'll talk about that in a second. Thank you, Christopher, for posting that. So let's talk about this one. Do voiceover talent thrive more with managers versus agencies? So let me start out by saying this. There are far fewer voiceover specific managers than there are voiceover specific agencies or agencies with a voiceover division. Voiceover managers are more of a rare breed. They do exist. A really nice one, if you're on LinkedIn, they're very active on LinkedIn, is ACM. A like apple, C like cookies, M like mud pies. I don't know where where these words are coming from today. ACM. ACM management. If you Google voiceover management companies, they will pop up first. They are mighty. The gentleman who founded it is a voiceover rock star and comes from the voiceover agency side of things. And it's a blessing to the voiceover universe, right? So there are such things as voiceover managers, far more common and accessible if you're first starting out, is a voiceover agent. I believe I was talking to somebody about ACM the other day, and they told me they thought that ACM has a minimum voiceover dollar earning amount per year before they'll consider you. So they want you to be sort of up and running and thriving and pretty rocking in your career before they take you on. And so that's something to aspire to. That's something to look towards. Just know that those exist. A voiceover agent, you can either go for somebody who's got a voiceover division. I know so many of you are in South Florida. I know that Peggy McKinley at BMG, I know they've got a voiceover division in Miami, and I know they opened one in Atlanta. And I know if anybody else is with somebody who's got a voiceover division, go ahead and pop it in the chat so we can kind of know what's out there. But it's not a matter of managers versus agencies, right? So managers versus agencies almost feels to me like wonderful human that posed the question. You're trying to compare apples to apples, and they're not. So it's like comparing a unicorn to a hot fudge sundae. It's a completely different universe. The place to really start in the beginning, in addition to what you're going to do for yourself and your own career, that continues, by the way, even after you have a voiceover agent and a voiceover manager, you're always going to be CEO of Voiceover You Incorporated and hustle for yourself. These other people work for you, believe it or not, and you share in the profits. It's not a matter of versus. So I hope that answered the question. If it didn't, you'll post in the Facebook and let me know. The rest of this question is it a combination of managers, agencies, and self-searches? Interesting. These questions are sometimes the way that you wonderful humans ask the question tells me just as much as the question itself. So in this case, that's it. Is it a combination of managers, agencies, and self-searches? Yes. And the thing that's not in there, in addition to self-searches, is agency for yourself, championing yourself. So there's a mindset, and I'm very naughty. I had this mindset in the beginning of my on-camera career, in the beginning of my voiceover career. Oh, my agent will do it. My agent will, I just have to worry about my agent doing stuff, and I'll show up and do the audition or the gig, and that's it. I really did not have an entrepreneurial or CEO of me, Voiceover Incorporated mindset till way far into my career. I was like this, la la la, I'm an artist, la la la, I don't want to do it, la la la. Very, very not lovely place to be. Learned the hard way, crashed and burned a lot of times. So, in addition to managers, agencies, and self searches, my very first question, the foundational question would be, how are you championing yourself and your career? And how are you being a gorgeous CEO of VoiceOver You Incorporated? That's all part of it. We want to be like searching for work. How are your tools? Do you have bridge demos? Is your studio up to speed? Is your stuff up on SoundCloud? Have you made videos of all your demos and where you can put video like on IMDb? Do you have a little website? Again, free to put up. You could throw up a one-page website. I know a lot of people love Wix. I'm a big WordPress fan. We can talk about that another time if you want to. I would like you, wonderful human who asked the question, and everybody here to make a list of ways in which you could treat yourself fabulously and your voiceover career fabulously as CEO of You Incorporated. And I recommend, usually I talk about this towards the end of the year, I recommend a once a year, top to bottom, soup to nuts review of what's going on in your voiceover world. What's happening in your studio? How's your equipment? How are your cables? How's your computer doing? What's your backup system like? Are you tracking your auditions in a way that makes sense to you? Do you know how many times you've read for so and so and how many times you've booked? Do you know how much money you're bringing in as a voiceover artist? If you're not tracking that, I suggest you start. It can be a Word document, a Pages document, a spreadsheet. I want you to really put on your crown and your scepter and your sash and walk around as the CEO, king, or queen that you are. I really want you to treat yourself really, really well. So, in addition to agencies and managers and self searches, there's the foundation of I have the mindset of I have this beautiful product to offer. I'm a professional, and here's what I do before I even search for a job, before I reach out to my agent, before I look for a manager. I've got all this going on that I bring forward into that stuff. Okay. Great, great, great question. Let's see. Okay. More hydration. Please hold. Hmm. All right. Let's go back to Christopher's question. Really good. Christopher lives in a 7-story building, little control over what noises are happening outside the unit. Yes. So, Christopher, if obviously I've said this before and I say this to everybody, if you have either a walk in closet or a closet that you can put your mic in and be surrounded by something squishy, and that's really, really, really useful. Not everybody has a walk in closet. I didn't when I started. Some of my clients and students have like shallow closets, like coat closets, and they have put just the mic and the table in there, surrounded by something squishy on the wall and clothes on either side, and they sit outside of it. But the mic, the thing that's hearing and needs to be buffered, is buffered from what goes on outside your unit. And I don't know how noisy it is. I have clients and students in Manhattan, and again, it's a little quieter there now, but when the world was open, there are ways to find, even if it's little pockets of time. Let's say your quiet pocket of time was 10:30 p.m. to a little after midnight. That's an hour and a half a night. If you're able to do it and available to work then, where you could work on clean voiceover stuff, auditions, recording your own demos and stuff. So if you haven't already, this is really important. I recommend everybody wander around their home and just listen. I want you to get to know your home as a voiceover artist. So what are the quietest areas in your home? And what are the quietest times of day in your home or your apartment, your nest, wherever you are? And in general, if you're looking in a room and you don't have a closet, the intersection of two walls, so a corner is the quietest part of a room. Again, there's exceptions. If you've got noisy pipes and noisy electric in there, then that's not quiet, but you can hear it. In general, you want to think about a corner, put the mic in the corner, pad those two corners, and you'll talk into that corner. You can even put like a room divider behind you with a squishy blanket over it and create a little cocoon. So Christopher, I would want you to experiment because in order to really lean into this, we need to figure out a quiet pocket for you. It doesn't have to be a giant room, but a quiet pocket and a quiet time for you to get started. So I understand the frustration. Once you're able to do it, there's booths you can get for at all price points. The granddaddy sort of like diamond crusted one is called Studio Bricks, and I think the entry price is like $6,000 or something, but it's soundproof. Double wall, triple wall, jackhammer outside, you wouldn't hear it kind of stuff. So it's a big investment. Nobody expects a beginning voiceover artist to do that, and you don't have to. So there's lots of creativity to be used to find yourself really crazy, quiet places. Oh, let's let somebody in. Hello, person. Linda says Ben's talent in Tampa. Yes, good. Thank you. Oh, that's a very good point. So thank you for sharing. So it's really good to know if you know of a voiceover artist or you're with a voiceover agency or you're with a voiceover agency that you love, please feel free to share. And I always recommend generosity because unless the other human being asking you sounds exactly like you, and we're all unique snowflakes, and really that's never going to happen, there's more than enough to share. I really want to encourage you to be generous with your knowledge and generous with your wisdom because it will bless others and bless you more than I can possibly tell you. In the beginning in this industry, I came across both sets of people very strongly, people who are very, very generous and people who are like, well, I can't tell you that. You're my competition. Why would I tell you that? I'm like, oh, okay, lovely human. I'm going to go over here and talk to somebody else. So there's more than enough for all of us. I'm going to say that again. There's more than enough for all of us. There's more than enough voiceover work for all of us. There's more than enough agents who want us. There's more than enough management. There's more than enough self-created projects for all of us. We are unique, sparkly snowflakes. Nobody can do a voiceover the way you can. If I gave everybody in this room the same piece of copy, I'd get completely different reads every time. So I want you to really embrace that and be generous because you never know if somebody else is looking for an agency in a town you know of, or you've got a friend who's at an agency and they're willing to talk to them about what it's like to work with them. Please share. Brevard Talent. Thank you, Iris. Brevard Talent in Orlando. Aren't they in Orlando? Yes, I think so. Tracy Danielle. Shout out to Tracy. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I am with Jay Purvis in Atlanta. They're fantastic. Jay Purvis Talent. Jamie is wonderful. And in fact, now that we're bringing it up, I will tell her I'm doing these office hours and see what their current process is for taking a listen to new humans. So let me make a note to myself that I'm going to do that for all of you. Jay Purvis. Okay, great. Very, very good. Okay, good. All right, let's see what else we have here. This is another emailed question, somebody who's going to listen in archive. Hello, replay human. Is it advisable to create a business entity or work under one's own name? This is a very good question. I am not a lawyer. I am not an accountant. I cannot give any kind of advice along those lines. I can tell you my personal experience, which I believe I shared last time. What year was it? Let me think about this. I believe it was 2018 where there was a really big change in the tax code for actors specifically. And all of those beautiful deductions that we used to be able to take as individual human beings, actors, they all vanished. And so I was advised by some of my advisory human counsel that if I created a business entity, I could keep all those wonderful deductions. And I had been thinking about it anyway. I was in an entrepreneurial boot camp. So that is how my entity came to be. I do have a corporate entity. Some people call it a loan out company. There's all kinds of different things. So again, I'm not a CPA, not a lawyer. I don't think we have any CPAs or lawyers in the group, do we? If we do, pop in the chat. I know sometimes we have them that pop in. So there's so many forms that your corporate entity can take. And there's a fee. Like I know, for example, in California, it's $800 a year just to have your corporate entity exist. So it depends on where you are and what you want to do with it. And that's a very personal decision. Here, Linda says, create an LLC. Is that a website? Create an LLC? Cheap in the state of Florida, $175 per year in Florida. That's great. So you've got the spectrum, $800 a year in Cali, $175 in Florida. So depending on where you are and what your income is to pour into creation of a business, you could consider it. I would have a conversation with a trusted tax or legal advisor to make that decision. Really, really, really good question. Yes, Linda, sorry, I didn't ask that question correctly. So I wasn't asking if that was the name of your company. I was asking if create an LLC is a website or you were just telling people to create an LLC. Because it's capitalized in the comments, and so I wasn't clear. So let me know. Beautiful. Okay. And that brings me to another really, really good point. Where is it? Where's the point here? Okay. So the second part of this question, is it advisable to work under one's own name? That's such a great question. So this is about branding. And again, I'm not a branding expert. I'm busy marinating with all of this myself. My entity, my business entity is called Ear Bliss. Ear bliss, happiness for your ears. Ear bliss. Yeah. And I was advised at one point to consider making my company my name, Karen-Eileen Gordon Productions, Karen-Eileen Gordon Creative, Karen-Eileen Gordon Enterprises. So there are a lot of artists who choose to do that. And then there are a lot of artists who want like a separate company, a name that's meaningful to them, a different name. So it depends on what you want to do with it. I don't think there's any harm in creating an entity with your name in it because you are your brand, whether you're going to be a voiceover talent or an on camera, or you're going to do coaching to advise people someday on your beautiful wisdom to share. But it's a very individual choice, and it should be made with yourself and your trusted team to advise you in terms of which one feels best for you. I think there's no one size fits all answer here. What I do really want you to consider, and this is really funny when I learned this in the beginning, one of my mentors said, please, if you're going to create a voiceover email for yourself, have your name in it. Don't make it be cottoncandy12@gmail.com. I'm awesome at yahoo.com. Please put your name in it. Please make it something identifiable. Your name VO, your name voiceover artist. If you're going to use it for more than one thing, please just have your name. I can't tell you from myself, because have done some casting in the past and done some casting recently, to go through bazillions of emails and have to go like, oh, who is Striped Giraffe 18 again? I don't know who that is. So if your email has your name in it, you not only are more identifiable every time you send an email, you're more identifiable to the buyers of your talent. You make it easier for them. So even if you got a million emails, I would suggest getting a voiceover dedicated email with your name in it, or your name and VO, right? Some permutation of that. Okay. How you guys doing out there? See some smiling people. Hello. All right, let's see. Let me get some more hydration and some more questions. Any questions from you guys? Pop them in the chat. Otherwise, we'll go to the ones that got mailed in. Hold on. Ooh. Okay, let's see. Here it is. Where is Zeke? Oh, I want to, here, let me see. I want to make this bigger. Hold on a second. I want to be able to see you. Give me 1 second. I'm closing the window a little bit. I want to make this bigger. There's everybody. Okay. Please hold for readjustment. I'm going to mute. Sometimes you guys will like just come off of mute randomly. And so I love you. And I'm just going to mute you. Just know that if you suddenly see your microphone go red, it's because I'm doing it. Okay. Zeke, where are you? I'm looking for you on the screen and I'm not seeing your. Hey, there you are. Am I saying your name right? Is it Zeke? Ah, okay, good, Zeke. I love that thing over the top. I know it has a fancy name, and I should know this because I used to do linguistics, but it's very cool. The name looks cool and sounds cool. Okay. Rebecca, welcome. We're happy to have any of you. And for all of you, we'll go from 2 to 3, the first Wednesday of every month. If you can't come to the last 5 minutes, please come anyway. If you come and have to leave after 12 minutes, please come anyway. I'm happy to have you here. Pop in and out. This is a very, if I had like a fire crackling on the back here, this is a very fireside chat, sort of comfy gathering. I'm happy to have you come and go as you wish. We're happy to have you here. Okay. Zeke says, should we use our stage or conversational voice for auditions and sessions? Oh, Zeke, this is such a good question. It's juicy. I'm going to read it again. Should we use our stage or conversational voice for auditions and sessions? You're talking about voiceover now, right? Yes. Always, always, always conversational. So good, especially if you come from a theater background. We are used to full voice, hitting the back rafters, the man in the 19th row munching on the popcorn. Voiceover is sitting right here, literally like a foot away, just having a chat, just Karen-Eileen and Zeke having a little chat. Hey, how you doing? And when you're on your mic as a voiceover, in general, depending on the mic, right? If you have a $10,000 mic, you can back up a little bit from it. The lower end mics, and the mic that I love, by the way, the AT2020 and the AT2020 USB Plus, you can get 5 to 7 inches away from it very comfortably. A lower end mic, you really have to be 3 fingers away. And sometimes if you're soft spoken, you need to be 3 fingers. So Boy Scout salute, 3 fingers away. 1 finger against your lips, the other finger against the front of your pop filter. That's how close. And in voiceover, you're always talking to one human being only one. Whether you're doing a 15-second a commercial for Crest or a 30-hour audiobook on the history of the state of New York, you're still having a conversation with one human being. And there's all kinds of tips and tricks and methods and tools and hacks to help you get into the place where you're just having that one beautiful conversation. Now, obviously, the kind of conversation you have about the state of New York and its history is going to be different than the kind of conversation you have about toothpaste. It's got a different energy to it. So the way that energy changes is you change who you're talking to. So if you're talking to an 8-year-old who's about to get their first cavity pulled, that's going to be a different sort of conversation than if you're talking to your best friend who just discovered they had an ancestor that came through Ellis Island that they never knew about, and they want to know everything there is to know about New York. Very different conversations. But always, 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 voiceover is storytelling. And beyond storytelling, voiceover is conversational storytelling. Now, there was a time 10-ish years ago that the trend was a little different. Voices were a little more over the top, a little more elevated. Even in the world of animation, you would hear the big characters and the big voices and the big accents. Now, even if you're watching a pink unicorn with glitter flying out of its ears, it still sounds like a person, a young person or an old person, but it's a regular voice, right? So really, really the overall beautiful vibe at the moment in the voiceover universe is real, authentic, conversational Zeke. Or and you, everybody in this room. So it's a really beautiful question. And in terms of your slate, also, and those of you in the on-camera world know this, really the purpose of the slate when you're going to use one, and some buyers of your talent will say to you, please don't ever use a slate. Please don't use a slate. Just go right into the read. So they'll pay attention to the direction when it comes from your agent or the casting site, wherever you're getting your voiceover stuff from. When you do slate, it really is, they just want to hear authentic conversational you. Just, hey there, this is Karen-Eileen Gordon. But that's it. You don't have to prove how, hello, this is Karen-Eileen Gordon, and I'm feeling British today. You don't have to do any of that. And I'm going to say what I say every time, and I'll say this every time we gather because it's important, and I need to be reminded also. Everybody in this room, your beautiful, authentic, conversational voice and self is way more than enough. Let me say that again. Your authentic, conversational, normal, casual, talking to one other person voice is way more than enough. Not only is it way more than enough, it's your special sauce. It's what gets you hired because nobody else can do authentic conversation the way you can do it. So please, please, please hear me. I want you to like lean into just bringing yourself in front of the mic. And there's something that happens. I know about it. It happens in the on-camera world. So I'm talking to you here, and in the beginning of my career, it would go like this, right? So here I am, and now I'm going to read copy. Hello, my name is Karen-Eileen Gordon, reading for the role of the mom. What just happened? So the microphone, I kind of want you to get to the place where, and we can talk about this as much as we want. How do you get into the place where you're conversational, authentic? Because it's kind of artificial. You're in front of a voice capturing device. You're not actually talking to your best friend with a cup of coffee in front of you. So how do you get to that place? And there's so many ways. There's so many ways. And if you have any acting training, you're way ahead of the curve. If you've never had any acting training, please don't worry about it because human beings are hardwired to be storytellers. We come in that way. Stories are like a universal language. If you've ever told a joke, if you've ever repeated a story, something that happened to you, to a friend or a family member, that's storytelling. That's what voiceover is. And so it's about how do you translate that into the spot for toothpaste or the thing that you're going to do, the audiobook, the 20-hour audiobook you're going to do. Okay, let me chat. Let me see. Let's see. Sonia says, I would like to know what you feel about someone like me that gets a lot of auditions but hasn't booked anything yet. Oh, this is a great question. Should I even bother to keep auditioning? Oh, we feel you, Sonia. Or auditions that are cast worldwide where the odds of booking are so, you got cut off there. I'm going to guess the word was like small or limited. Oh, there you go. Against you, as opposed to maybe smaller projects that are not cast so wide. Oh, first of all, Sonia, big love. We all have been in that place that you're sitting right now. And so this is part of what we could talk for hours and hours and hours about. And we can continue this conversation next month in new office hours is the voiceover artist mindset. And there's a couple things in your question here that I just want to address. Someone like you, okay. First of all, your unique sparkly snowflakeness is absolutely what is going to get you booked. So the next part of this question, you get a lot of auditions. First of all, holy cow, let's do thumbs up for that. Let's do a happy dance for the auditions. So many times, Sonia, artists, and I used to be guilty of this, would be like, I get a lot of auditions, but I'm not booking anything. Or I get a lot of callbacks, but I'm not booking anything. Or I booked this one thing, but my friend just booked a six-figure job. So the mindset of, yeah, but, or I'm going to minimize that is your villain. It's your arch enemy. And it's lying to you. Let me tell you right now, that voice is lying to you. So the fact that you're getting a lot of auditions is to be wildly celebrated. I'm not kidding you. I'm going to say that again. The fact you're getting a lot of auditions is to be wildly celebrated. And I'm talking to you and me and everybody in this room. I want you to get in the habit of celebrating your journey and your progress. You get an audition, that either means you were industrious and sleuthed out something and submitted and was able to find something you were matched to, or somebody said, hey, we'd like to hear you. We heard your demo, or we heard about you, or we're selecting you. We'd like to get to know you more. It is a huge win. An audition is a win. So rather than viewing an audition as a throwaway or something that's not a big deal, I want you to separate the audition out from the booking and go, auditions are freaking awesome. And yay me that I'm getting a lot of auditions. Huge. Okay. The next part of this. Should I even bother to keep auditioning? Oh my gosh. So the way you've worded this tells me that your beautiful brain is in need of some love and light and support. First of all, we all go through what we feel like is like 10 million years since we've booked anything. I think any artist has done that, including what is her name? I love her so much. Terry Hatcher. Do you guys know the story of Terry Hatcher in Desperate Housewives? She had something like a 20-year break between when she was on fire on the Superman show and Desperate Housewives. 20 years. And she talks about this. She was like, I couldn't get arrested. No, nobody would hire me for anything. I banged down every door. I took every lunch. And she was like, nothing was happening. So she leaned into her life and had found things that made her joy. And then, by the way, there came Desperate Housewives. Now, I'm not saying it's going to take you 20 years to book a job. The point of that story is I don't want you to hang any kind of your value or self-worth or evidence of your talent or lack thereof, or evidence of whether or not you should be doing voiceover on how many things you're booking. One of my dear friends is actually was on Broadway before it shut down. And we talk about this all the time because the Broadway actors, unlike us as voiceover artists, the Broadway actors can do online stage readings. Yeah, they can visualize themselves on stage, they can write and they can plan. But as voiceover artists, we actually have the opportunity to audition right now during a pandemic. There are people hiring us right now. So I want everybody to take a moment. If you're not already grateful, please shower yourself with some gratitude that you have chosen a path or a career that is pandemic proof. And not only pandemic proof, you can actually spread some love and light and joy with your voice during a pandemic. Yes, either in how you audition, a project you create, you can tithe or donate your voice, you can create something and give it away, a voiceover entity or product. We can talk about that. So the should I even bother to me means that you've sort of decided you've done this many auditions and you haven't seen a return, and then maybe now you're going to quit. So what I want to tell you is my friend, my Broadway friend that I talked to, he's with a very reputable New York agency, for voiceover, and has been with them for way long before the pandemic, like 5 or 6 years, maybe. Just booked his first gig after 5 years of auditioning. He's very talented, been doing other things. He was on Broadway, he does some on camera stuff, but I don't want the I have to book or I'm leaving to be your mindset. The I have to book or I'm leaving means you've hooked something that shouldn't be hooked to your self worth or an assessment of your talent or your ability. I have to tell you that voiceover is thriving during the pandemic. And because there's less dollars going around, there's a little bit less commercial work. Do you know what I mean? Like people aren't throwing dollars around the way they were more than a year ago before things shut down. So there has been a little bit of a shift everywhere because everything has stopped, as we all know, but it doesn't mean a thing. Now, if you sent me a file and I listened to your file and I'm like, well, I can barely hear you. Then if there's something that needs to be assessed in the quality of the auditions you're sending, that's fixable. That's why you coach or go to classes or do workouts. So if you feel like you're sending out killer, top-notch, amazing auditions time and time and time again, and you haven't gotten booked, I would still say to you, let's look at what you're doing. Where are you auditioning? What kind of things are you auditioning for? Are they in alignment with your heart and your soul and what you want to do with your gifts? Or are you kind of like going, I want to throw spaghetti against the wall until I book? I just want to book. I just want to make some cash. I want to make cash doing voiceover. Cash, cash, cash. I have to tell you, hooking dollar signs to your voiceover career is the quickest way to keep them from coming to you because it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure to put on yourself as you are learning and growing as an artist. Now, I'm all about the dollars as well. I think dollars in exchange for our art is fantastic. But to make your decision about whether or not you're going to continue based on whether or not you've booked a gig, I would say let's do some more exploration. Are you miserable? Did you get into voiceover just because somebody said it's a way to make some easy cash? If that's the reason you leaned into it and you're not enjoying it, then maybe it is time to reassess. But before anybody puts it down, I would want to have a conversation with you. So I want to offer that to you. Please email me and let's schedule like a little 15-minute chat so I can just get a sense of you and see if I can assist you. It's a great question, but I would say please don't give up yet. Let that have a voice. It's really important that, whatever comes up in us has a voice, but I would rather you be curious about that. So, I'm feeling like I haven't booked anything and maybe it's time to stop. What else can I discover there? What part of me needs to have a conversation? What's going on that I'm not happy with? What needs to change? So I would say, let's open that up for some more exploration. Oh, this time just flies. And your last piece is smaller projects that don't cast so wide of a net. So if you're going up for six-figure jobs, which I'm thrilled for everybody to be auditioning for, like, six-figure, you're the voice of the campaign kind of jobs. Um, yes, those are more competitive. They are more competitive, and all the voiceover artists from the big three voiceover agencies on the planet, William Morris Endeavor, ICM, CAA, Innovative Artists, all those guys are competing. All the celebrities are competing along with those of us who are not yet completely A-list celebrities. So way more competitive. It's not a terrible idea to look around in your own backyard. I have found tremendous value and clients and dollars by looking around my own backyard, my own town, my own neighborhood and going, hey, this place that I order food from all the time, they have a pretty not awesome outgoing voicemail message. I'm a voiceover artist. Can I offer that to them? Or they've got something on their website, like an explainer file for people who are um, blind or what's the word? Not hard of hearing. Hard of not what's the word? Not hard of hearing. What's the equivalent for your eyes? Blind or sight impaired. Blind or
Yeah.
sight impaired. Thank you. Blind or sight impaired. So maybe you could do that for them. So I would say, in addition to continuing to do the beautiful auditions you're doing and maybe fine tuning with a coach, doesn't have to be me, but somebody who can check in on you and say, are your auditions competitive? Because that's a really important question because we are competing with celebrity humans who do voiceover as their main gig. So it's important to assess where you are with somebody who's kind and knowledgeable. So I would say, yes, look locally, and yes, assess what's going on with your millions of auditions that you're getting. Okay, let's see. Linda just booked for your first audiobook. Yay! Oh, Susan, see myself. Oh, this is about, we'll figure it out. I don't, spotlight for everyone. This is a spotlight question. Can you guys still see me in spotlight? I don't know. No. Yes. Thumbs up. Yes. All right. There's some way to set it. It usually says, put the spotlight on me, but it doesn't want that here. It says spotlight for everyone. So I don't want to do that. Okay. We'll work it out. We'll work it out. As long as you can see me and hear me, I'm happy. Okay, great. Thank you, Susan, for trying to help me. I'm going to work that in between. Elizabeth says, I've been setting up my home studio and practicing since the pandemic. Yay, 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 yay. Submitted, but not one audition yet. Yes. Oh, please check the chat. This is some love, right? This is some love, Sonia. This is some love for you. People are saying, I've been auditioning too and I haven't got a little thing. So even people who are at the top of their game, sometimes it takes them a minute to book something juicy and lovely. But again, I don't want that hook to your maybe I should quit or maybe I'm not good enough. So because those two things are not connected. But I also want you to get some feedback from somebody you trust. Okay. I'm going to go a little after because there's a couple of questions here, if that's okay with all of you. If you need to hop off at 3:00, please do so. Let's see. Is it worth signing up? This is from Sandy. Is it worth signing up for an organization like Backstage or Casting Network to post your portfolio or your reel for bookings? Currently have Voice 123, haven't booked anything through them. Casting Network for modeling and theater, not sure. Oh, these are such good questions. So the Backstage voiceover component is fairly new. I believe it's within the past year. And if you have experience with the voiceover component of Backstage, please pop that in the chat so people can see it. My understanding is they're still kind of finding their sea legs, and most of them are either non-union jobs or very low pay. So if you're a union person, it's not the right thing for you yet, but it's worth paying attention to because I'm sure it will grow. If you're a non-union person, there's a lot of opportunities. So if you've had experience there, please pop that in the chat and we'll take a look at it. The biggest pay to play sites really are Voice 123 and Voice 123 and what's the other one? No, that's it. Voice 123 is the biggest pay to play. I was thinking of ACX, but that's free. ACX is for audiobooks. And again, primarily non-union stuff. So if a union person, it's not the greatest investment. As a non-union person, it's a better investment, but your mileage may vary. So there are a lot of things to do to generate work for yourself other than the pay to play site. And that's about self-created content, which is such a giant topic that maybe that can be the theme of our May office hours. We can talk about that because I love to talk about it. So I wish I had a hard and fast answer for you, Sandy. It's very individual. I know there are certain things you can do on Voice 123. You can set up a free profile and then you can't submit to auditions. But if somebody searches your stuff and you're a perfect match, you get invited to audition. So that's a way for you to participate in it without having to drop the cash. I think it was $395 a year. Somebody correct me if that's the wrong dollar amount. So before you do that, I would want you to set up the take two. I would want you to set up the free profile, tongue twister. And I would want you to make sure your catalog of demos is solid, your studio is solid. Like there's all kinds of things you can do that they're posted everywhere that you can that's free. Do you have a little voiceover website? Is that clickable there? Is it in video form? Is it on Do you have an IMDb page? Is it on your IMDb page as a video or an audio file? I think it's still video only on IMDb. You can correct me if I'm out of date here. So really good thing to consider. I wish I could give you a hard and fast answer, but it's very individual. But I'm really in favor of exploring the free options and having you have those opportunities and working on developing your studio to industry standard, your comfortability with different kinds of copy, putting things everywhere you can that's free for you to do and championing yourself. And if it feels like a good try for you, then absolutely try it. It's a chunk. It's like a $400 chunk to take the risk. Yeah. And I wish for everybody that you immediately book a job that pays for it. That's what I hope for everybody. I know that doesn't happen all the time. Let's see. Okay, another question. This is also from Sandy. Sandy has a social media platform that you post your work on. However, do voiceover artists create their own websites? I'm torn because I'm a writer as well and like to have a site with all my work, but is that a common thing? Oh, Sandy, what a good question. Yes, such a common thing for a voiceover artist to have their own dedicated website just for their voiceover work because the buyers of your voiceover talent are likely going to be different than the buyers of your writing talent. Now, if you have a main website, sandy.com, can you put a tab on there with voiceover? Yes. But if you're going to lean heavily into voiceover, you can absolutely create a separate site. And again, this is my opinion. If you ask a million people, you're going to get a million answers. Some people are like, oh, you never want to split them. Only one site, only your name. Okay, everybody calm down. There's plenty of opportunities for everybody to do their own thing. And if you are blessed with a voiceover agent and or a voiceover manager, they may have a very specific opinion about what's a really good idea for you, and you can take that input. My feeling is I would split it out. so that you can have your on-camera stuff separate and your voiceover stuff separate. I'm a speaker. I'm building a speaker website. The people who want to hire me to do a keynote are not the people who are going to want to hire me to coach them in voiceover. So if they blend, that's great. And I would link the two sites. I'm also a writer. Please click here for my writing website. So I would link your websites if they're separate. But I'm a big fan of making it really simple for the buyers of your talent to find you and see what you do. Really, really good. Sonia, yes, love. Linda booked her thing after 6 years of auditioning. Can we do like a silent round of applause? Oh my God, 6 years. And how many of us, like, I don't know about you, but I have had some dry spells in my career. I've been many years in between. And what is the name of the actress? You guys know this. I'm blanking on her name. She's the hilarious daughter on Schitt's Creek. Somebody pop her name in the chat. I heard her interviewed, and this is a common interview, where she said when she was driving for that audition, she hadn't worked in 2 years, and she'd worked a bit before that, so 2-year dry spell. Her house had just burned down. She was convinced she had to give up. It was all over. She was sobbing her guts out with snot everywhere on the way to the audition, and then Schitt's Creek happened. So if you are suffering in your process as a voiceover artist, I want you to stop and take a breath and look at that. You're not meant to suffer. And so a lot of that is about mindset, something we've hooked to the results of the audition or the results of getting the agent or the results rather than being in joy in the process. So I always want to guide you back to being in joy in the process. Do you like to tell stories? If you don't, then maybe you want to consider another form of creative expression. There's no harm in saying, well, voiceover is all about telling stories. And that's not very fun for me. I don't want to do great. Then something else will be a huge match for you. But if you're not enjoying it in any way and you've worked with somebody or tried to maybe like shift into a different mindset and you can't, that's really good information. I don't ever want to tell anybody to step away until they've explored changing their mindset, because very often the brain can work some shenanigans up there. Annie Murphy, thank you. Okay. Let's see. All right, we'll go another couple minutes. I know we're going to go about 15 minutes over. Let's see. Rebecca is 50 auditions in on voices.com. So far, no bookings, but you will keep it up. Rebecca, I'm going to state an opinion here that may not be very popular. I would say that voices.com has room to grow and improve, as we all do. They have a history of not treating their talent with a lot of respect or a lot of transparency. And so for that reason, when people ask me before they do it, I say, please step away temporarily from voices.com. That is always my feeling. If you are having a good experience, please continue to let me know that. I'm hoping that they're changing their business practices and their administration. And I always recommend Voice123 over voices.com for that reason. I always want you guys to tell me what you're doing and what's working, because I have my experience, my opinion. You have your experience, your opinion. Let's share and see what's going on. Absolutely, always. So first of all, the fact that you have 50 auditions is phenomenal. And please, I want you to jump up and down, scream and yell and celebrate, because that's amazing. Chris says, where will this Zoom video be posted when completed? If I've done my tech right, we should be live on the Facebook office hours page right now. I don't know if somebody can go there and see and tell me, but we should be there. And this is being recorded. So as soon as the recording processes, it's long, so it'll take a little minute. I will put this recording onto the Facebook office hours group. So it should live on the page. If it's not there already, automatically I'll drop it there like within an hour or so. And they'll live there forever. The one from last month is there as well. Thank you, Chris, for that question. Sonia says, with Voice123, you have to buy in for a higher level auditions. Yes, please don't go beyond the entry level for Voice123. Please don't pay $5,000 because they promise they'll give you more auditions. Please don't do that. The only thing I recommend for Voice123 is the entry level package, which is $395 or $400. That's it. Please don't spend more money than that with them. There are way better ways, in my opinion, humble opinion, as Coach S. Karen-Eileen Gordon, just my opinion, way better ways to spend those $5,000 than giving them to a pay-to-play voiceover site. That is my opinion. Yeah, Sonia, you are correct. That is correct. Ginny says, I'm on Backstage, joined a few months, several invites, just finished a job. Yay! Pay is a bit low. As an invite, you were able to charge GVAA rates. That's so great. First visit, you're welcome here. So glad you joined. Happy birthday. Yes. Okay, very, very good. All right. Rebecca says she's intimidated by voices 1, 2, 3. Oh, please don't be intimidated. Let me not say that. Allow yourself to be intimidated. What you're doing is fabulous. Talk about it. And then let us say to you, we're here with you. Please be intimidated. Take a breath. We will Zoomically hold your hands while you can try it out. So a good way to try it out is the free version. And if you go to sign up for the free version and you have a panic attack, write down your questions and bring them to office hours and we'll help you. Super easy. You've got a village. You've got a village. So you're not, no artist, and we all know this, right? But I'm going to remind us, no artist ever succeeds by themselves. I'm getting emotional. No artist ever succeeds. Oh, I'm crying on the Zoom. No artist ever succeeds by themselves. I've been so blessed by so many people. Everybody on this Zoom has been blessed by mentors or teachers or coaches, friends, family members who believed in us when we were having those little dark patches or moments or, oh my God, I can't. Nobody gets anywhere in terms of thrivingness as an artist without a giant village. So you also have this one now. So please know that's available to you. Voice, so this is from Ginny. Okay, Ginny's just saying it's devoices.com has not changed as far as they can see, different levels of membership. Voice 123 is good. Yeah, I'm glad you're having a good experience. Rebecca, you'll come around. Okay, great. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, unicorns and snowflakes, it has been a joy to be here with you for the April Voiceover Office Hours. You are all phenomenal. You make my day. It is such joy to be here with you. Please go forward and be voiceover awesome. I'm going to take us all off mute because we're going to do the craziness that I love to do at the beginning and the end, or excuse me, at the end. Where is it? Let me unmute everybody because I have the power. I have the power. I think I have the power. Oh, maybe I don't. You guys unmute yourselves. I don't have the power. So everybody unmute. Everybody unmute.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
You're
raise your right
amazing.
hand. Everybody raise your right hand. Do this with me, please.
Thank you.
Candy.
Grab the back
You're
of your,
a sweetheart. I
pat
love
yourself
you,
on the
Sarah.
back. Pat, 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 pat. Everybody pat
Wow.
yourself on the back.
Thank you
Pat,
so
pat, 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 pat.
much.
Yay!
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Big love, everybody. Have a beautiful rest of your month. I'll see you in May.
Sweetheart, thank you
Right.
so much.
Have a good
You're
So
week.
beautiful.
good.
Thank
Check
you.
your
Enjoy your
spam
birthday.
folders. Check your spam folders for an email from AWeber. If you want to be on the email list, then you're not already on it. It's from AWeber, and every time I send something out, you'll get it, but it's a separate email. So look for that.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Awesome.
Bye, Karen.
Bye,
Yeah.
Sonia. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Candy, Zeke, Mike,
Bye.
Suzanne, Sonia, Linda, Reese, Sandy, Sharon, Ellen, Chris, Phil. I'm trying to say your name as you go off. Ginny, Lavinia.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. This was part of it. You're part of my joy. So thank you very much.
Birthday.
All right. You guys are
Thank you so much.
phenomenal. You're so
Wow.
welcome. Oh, so good. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.